Hello, good morning, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauryn.
And I'm Ian.
And this is our Saturday morning Play with Your Strength. We'll warm up on the floor, roll around a little bit, and then progress towards some crawls and maybe even some time upside down. It's going to be great.
So we have our ottoman in this back corner, or in our case, this wood box apparatus, where we'll try to elevate those feet, work on some pike stands to progress those handstand skills and entries. Until then, it's the mermaid sit just to say hello to those hips and warm up the core on the floor. So come on down anyhow you wish, and then copying Lauryn's nice position there, let's have that shin bone in the front parallel with the sternum chest here. Hips on the floor, perhaps those fingertips as outriggers. And just take some time, check in with how this feels. Take a breath, check in. Are you really, say, out here or not over top of your hips? If so, use that hand on the floor to press that rib cage to stack over the hips. No rules, perhaps no hands, and just switch that to the other side. Set it up, same thing, easier, harder to get into. Personally, I do have to use that hand a little bit more to press myself on top, lengthening out right here. Take a breath, maybe point that toe, Lauryn. It's gymnastics class.
Oh, I was committing to both flexed feet.
And just hang out here for a couple more seconds. Then we'll move on from that and just get into a lunge position. But first, let's go to those hands. So place those hands down, fingertips, callus lines, then full hands, and then switch into an all fours position. Let's just breathe a little bit here. Let the belly fall to the floor as you breathe in, and pull it to the spine as you exhale. Repeat that twice more. Breath in, belly falls to the floor, and breath out, pull the belly to spine. Last one, breath in, and then pull the belly to spine. Keep breathing like that as we draw some wrist circles here. So I'll pull on the floor to extend my wrist, shoulders towards over fingertips, and then push through the floor to draw nice circle shapes. That's halfway for me. Nice and controlled, challenging that wrist extension, and then switch directions if you haven't already.
And keeping your elbows straight.
Nice, and fingertips heavy. Root those fingertips into the ground for strength. Return to the center, push through, shake it out. Let's just do that quarter turn at the wrist now. Fingertips, callus lines, then full hands on the ground. Screw them in. Those blood donations face forward and those shoulders are low. Now take a breath into the belly. Let it fall to the floor. Exhale, pulling to spine. And now keep it tight to the body and inhale. No bellies to floor. Increase the pressure in the abdominals. Exhale. Repeat that bellies to spine. We're breathing in. Exhale. And with that belly to spine for the last time, breath in. Exhale. And then press to the right to shift your weight left. And then switch. Use those fingertips. Use Lauryn's cue of keeping those elbows super straight. And feel that nice push and pull on the floor. Warm up those wrists for gentle crawls or some handstands, and then flick away. Now, in that tall kneel position, let's get one leg out in front, as in a lunge. Check. We can hike hips like John Travolta. We can stir the pot or a cauldron like a witch. But let's make sure, no matter where we are, those hips are nice and level. From here, let's press down on that front foot and pull ourselves forward just a little bit. As Lauryn will show, the shoulders and the hips will stay on top of one another, avoiding that peacock chesting forward. Push forward to come back, and let's do that one more time. We have a squeezed back butt cheek, press down in the front, and pull ourselves forward. Feel the hamstring on the bent leg in the front, and then perhaps that quadricep style on the back. Press the tall. Then from this tall position, let's get to that demi point in the front. And for up to 10 repetitions here, let's go back and forth from that demi point, balls of feet, towards toe point. Nice and control, challenge that balance, work on that calf and arch, and focus on pointing those toes. Then pull that underneath, bring the other leg through, and again, Saturday night fever or Saturday morning craziness here with those hips. Level them, and then press down on the front. Squeeze the back butt cheek and pull yourself forward. We're trying to encourage that knee to go over the toe. Then just press yourself back. Let's pull into that one more time. It's a butt squeeze in the back leg, press down in the front, pulling the whole body forward, challenging that knee over toe vibe. Then press back. Then from the tall position, get towards that demi point, and again, articulate through the foot here as you go up to 10, nice and control. Feel that tension in the hip, the foot, driving that extra hip flexion up top here. Last one or two, hold on to that balance, and then pull that underneath, nice and control. Let's go back to those hands, a quick down dog plank. Hands, check. They've screwed in, fingertips are heavy. Then lengthen out to a high plank position, but this time start tipping your tailbone to the ceiling, pressing the hands through the floor. That is exciting, we'll call it, on my hamstrings. How about you, Lauren? So let's pull ourselves forward into our high plank. And at this place, we'll have a little bit of that posterior tuck or front of hips towards belly button. At this place, just tip your tailbone again. Maybe the heels accept towards the floor. Keep the knees straight. Tailbone tip to the ceiling. And then pull back. Last one, same thing. Tailbone tips to the ceiling as we lengthen out those legs. And breathe. And then we'll find our knees on the ground. And then it's time to roll around a little bit here. So let's get off those hands, get on our back, roll around for the core.
From our backside here, our legs are out in front of us straight and our arms start in that T position. Taking your right arm, sweep it down towards your hip. Across your hip, the shoulder's going to start to leave the floor. The head's going to start to roll you over, and that upper body will end up on your stomach. Let's do the same thing. Sorry, I'm deciding which direction to go and how much room I have here. Let's do the same arm. We're going to go back where we came from. So that right arm this time is going to sweep down towards your hip, lifting up towards the ceiling, rolling you to your backside again. Same thing, other direction. Left. Oh man, what did I say? Did I say right arm?
You said right.
And I did my left. So let's continue with that. Left arm is going to sweep across the hip, touching, pulling the shoulder head, rolling yourself to your stomach, and then taking that same arm, sweeping it by the hip, looking at it as you roll, and to your backside. Let's repeat the same idea, but with our legs. So this time our upper body is sleeping and our legs are rolling us around. We'll take our left leg, bringing it in, gently straighten it. It'll start to fall over, and as it falls over, your upper body will follow, rolling to your stomach. Taking that same leg, bend it, reach it up to the sky, rolling it back to your backside, and flop. Same thing, other leg. Right knee comes in, slowly extend, leg starts to fall over, and as you do that, allow the arm to sweep the hip and end up on your stomach. Bending the right leg, reaching in towards the ceiling, and rolling yourself to your backside. We'll stay on our backside here and progress through some banana progressions. With your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, arms extended out at your sides, palms up. Connect your ribs and hips by lifting your head and shoulders off the floor to engage your core. Let's just hold and breathe here, feeling that tension in our abs and not in our head, neck, and not in our low back. Slowly relax. We'll do that again, adding on as we go. Again, engaging core, ribs to hips, lifting the head, shoulders off the floor. As allowed, let's lift one knee up towards center and then the other. Either staying here or progressing to reaching one leg out long and then pulling it back in. Repeat, other leg reach long, pull it back in. Let's do that about 4 more times. We're keeping that core brace. We're still breathing underneath it. That low back is remaining neutral, so it's not ramming into the floor. You're breathing here. One last one. Pulling back to center and gently relax. We'll flip to all fours and roll in a different direction here.
Awesome. We'll set up those hands nice and wide. Take a hand across the chest. Take a look through that window as we try to connect the shoulder towards the floor. Take a breath. Exhale, press away. Alternate to the other side. Hand across chest. Look with the head neck first. Look to connect that shoulder towards the floor. Take a breath in and exhale. Keep that hand where it is, or switch it that the palm turns up at the hip. We look through, take a breath, and then press and switch. That hand is turned up. Lead with the head neck. Rotate through and press. Continue as you are here, or with Lauren and then me, do a couple of those front rolls. We're looking to roll over the shoulder blades, so it's more like a judo roll, say, than a gymnastics roll, straight over center. Nice and control as Lauren finished in that tuck position, trying to recall which side it was that she actually did. That's common. That happens to me, to you, to probably you at home as well. So nice and control. We just try to swip through. Nice and control. Yeah, we'll look forward to
I always get in trouble when I do the back roll. We'll look forward to those days when we can reverse it. But just nice and control. Pull yourself through and have fun as you're doing it. Let's do one more banana from the floor
as
here.
You're doing it.
Lying on your back again. Start with those arms extended at your sides, palms up, knees bent. Let's again brace our core by lifting our ribs, hips off the floor. Sorry, not your hips. Keep your hips down. Head, shoulders off the floor. Now let's this time bring both feet up so our knees are over our chest. Either doing a single leg alternating extension or extending both legs out. Reaching long, keep your legs tight together, your toes pointed. Then overhead, you take off towards overhead. Keep breathing underneath. You'll hear me start to shake now. As we maintain this hollow body position that will go to pull everything back to center and then gently relax. Nice. We'll flip over, do a little push up and start crawling around, and then add some single leg balances.
Awesome.
Flipping to all fours here. We're going to start in our elephant crawl, or like a down dog crawl. So with your hands underneath your shoulders, your toes tucked, your tailbone gently tilted towards the ceiling, let's press up towards that A-frame shape. As we're here, we're trying to keep that tail long and heels pressing towards the floor. Taking your opposite hand and foot, take a little step forward and alternate sides as you do that. Thinking about using your hands as you crawl, peeling and flicking the floor away. Taking that step at the same time with hand and foot, and the whole time keeping that tailbone long and tilted towards the ceiling.
My coordination got thrown
Couple
off.
Steps forward, couple steps backwards. And then once you're back to a nice place, let's actually walk our hands towards our feet or feet to hands and slowly stand up through our forward fold. Taking a breath, taking your time to get to tall, making it sure it feels okay to change levels.
Yeah.
All right.
Single leg balances here. Let's just start on those 2 feet and press those knees over toes. Knees over toes, those themes will always be part of our workouts here. Let's extend those hips all the way through. And then with straight legs, let's find that first demi-point rise or the balls of feet and slowly lower to the floor. All right, let's go single leg now. So bring a single leg up, nice and tight to the body, slurped in the straw, and also try knee over toe. Hang out for a couple seconds, extend that hip through, and then also on a single leg, perhaps with the assistance of your balance aid, nice and control, find the rise. Nice and slow up, nice and slow down. Reset on 2 feet, slurp it up. Same thing, that knee bend, plie, squat on a single leg here. Hang for a couple more seconds. Extend the hip through with the balance aid, nice and control. It doesn't have to be high. Get up to that place where you own and you're able to come down with control. Add those shakes. I think we have 1 or 2 more zoo exhibits to go through here. And we'll continue with our balances.
We've been working on our crow lately. Or the raven, because downtown has gotten a raven in town. And it provides a lot of sound.
Vocal.
So let's channel that raven by placing our hands on the floor or you can watch first the first time if you'd like. We're going to get up on that tiptoes, bring our knees as close to the elbows as we can, grip the floor with the hands, gently pressing over, and maybe finding a one balance, or be the raven at the top of the church, peering out. Breathing and holding, using the hands to press you forward and back, and then slowly pressing away to find the floor with your feet and press to tall.
Awesome. That was inspiring. Not sure if it was the Raven or the Lauryn here, but here we go. Do the same thing.
Bringing those knees up really high will help you. And right now we are practicing that bent elbowed position. The straight arm is a lot more challenging. Find that balance, breathe, hold, toes are pointed, using the hands.
Ooh.
Nice, maybe one more each and then we'll...
Who's chilling at home in their squat between sets of that? Improve the mobility of the hips and the intensity of the movement as we can hang out in this squat. Super great. Lauryn, you breathing?
Yeah.
Nice and control. Those fingertips are white. Nice. Play with that a little bit. Awesome. So one more time here. So I go, you go style, fingertips. Crow position.
Raven.
Nice. Raven. Nice and control.
Breathing. Nice.
Lauryn was playing with a little bit of that side to side, little front and back. Mm-hmm. Build some awareness. And again, driving that action clearly through some weight transfers, but also through the hands. It's time to stand up. Let's return back to that single leg. But first, knees over toes. So knees over toes on 2 feet. And then from there, just point a leg out front. Check.
I don't know which leg to point.
And then from here, stand up tall. Now pull to that ankle. Let's go knee over toe. And then straighten out that leg and hold. Then stand up, return to the standing leg, and then to the floor. Same thing other side. Knees over toes, single leg out front, check those hips. Then extend to tall. Pull up to the ankle, knee over toe once more, hold the balance, and then extend the leg, hold for 4, 3, press the hip through, connect. There we go.
Excellent.
We have this box. You might have an ottoman, little small step. Looking to get that A shape, the A-frame shape from Lauryn's warm-up there in the elephant crawl into a nice handstand progression. This is not for you. Just walk around like the elephant, spend some more time upside down. But if you're ready, Lauryn will show first here by placing her toes on the edge.
Let's also make sure our box doesn't move behind us.
Right. Putting it against the wall is not a bad idea. We tested this before. It went well before, so we hope it can go just about as well. Square that up. Okay. So for this first set here, you can see how Lauryn is trying to get her shoulders over top of her wrists and really trying to get the hips. Super, super hard, but doing a really good job here by a straight line. She'll press her hips back just like she did there for a little bit of reprieve or rest. And for maybe 1 or 2 more rounds here, really getting the wrist extension and that familiarity being upside down. Not easy. If you did that with Lauryn, take rest. You enjoy it. And then if you didn't, and you were listening to me, let's do it with me here.
So with your hands on the floor, you'll put those toesies on the box or your ottoman or your Chesterfield and lift the hips up towards the ceiling. Just like in our handstand, we're pressing the floor away so we have those elevated shoulders. We're trying to get our butt over top of our head. And push to find maybe a little balance or feel that weight in our hands getting towards that upside down place here. Remember to breathe, take a couple seconds off in between, and then slowly come down to dismount. Ian always has to check in on that first level adjustment.
First 1 or 2 of the day, you know it.
All right.
You know it.
To some hip cars. Have a balance aid so that it's not about the balance, but it's about the hip mobility. Cue the balance aid. With it at your side, we're just going to explore the 3 ranges right now. Bending the outside knee so the quad remains parallel. Imagine you're juicing an orange behind that knee. Don't drop the orange. Keep the ribs to hips and slowly think extension in the hip or reaching behind you, but not arching your low back. Hold that. It's not going to go that far. 3, 2, now we'll move through to hip flexion. Pull the knee up towards the chest. but keep the foot underneath the body. So keep it tight underneath your butt. You're still juicing that orange underneath your knee. Hold. 3, 2, we'll brush it back underneath us so the quads return to parallel. And then from there, we'll lift the leg out to the side. As we lift out to the side, making sure that belt line didn't change and we're not hiking and getting crunchy in our hip rib area. Your butt should be burning by now. Pull it back underneath, straighten the leg, shake it out, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Standing up tall, we'll bend that outside knee, keeping the quads parallel. Keeping the quads parallel and slowly reaching to hip extension first. So we're reaching behind us, keeping that ankle as close to our butt as we can and holding for 3, 2, and then pulling through to hip extension. As you pull through to hip extension, hip flexion, make sure that tailbone stays long versus getting rounded underneath of us. Keeping the ankle under, staying tall. 3, 2, and then brushing the quads back to parallel. From that parallel position, knee is still bent. We'll lift it right out to the side. Again, belt line level, glute engagement, length between your rib and your hip. 3, 2, pull it back under, straighten the leg, and shake it out. Whew.
There we go. Let's get those spatial things going on here. Lauryn will progress that pike stand skill just a little bit. First, she'll find that nice A-frame shape. Then, perhaps lifting a single leg. Setting up in a beautiful A-frame here, using the toe to gently flick. And that again will allow that weight transfer slightly more over those wrists. With control. The straight leg, those straight elbows, they're sure working hard here. And nice and control. Keeping the hips closed. On this rep here, Lauryn will oversell the opening, adding the twist, avoid that. Let's make sure we can go straight through in that line. That's a lot of work.
I find that so hard.
A lot of work. So again, oftentimes previous weeks in our warm-ups, we would have been in the down dog planks position here and gone through that same movement. If you feel necessary, please regress towards that position here as we continue to explore and expand our skills with the apparatus. My turn. So we're setting up in that planks position. The tailbone tips long and we walk ourselves back. Then using the toe, we'll flick and nice and control allows you to get a little bit more weight over the hands and back.
I can talk if you want to just breathe. Keeping those elbows straight, we'll be gripping the floor, pressing away again with those elevated shoulders. That pointed foot leg is reaching long towards the ceiling. And really don't cheat this. Keep those hips closed. It's so much harder, but it'll be better in the long run. Nice. Breathing, reaching, elbows straight, quiver in. Take a second off to recover.
Even though that's a progression towards the handstand, I honestly find it more challenging. More challenging. It exposes those places that you can start to improve upon.
Also changes where your center of gravity is and your balance
weight transfer
point.
For sure.
All right, enough of that chit chat. Let's get back to our hips again.
Okay.
We're gonna link a couple of those moves together and really get the femur moving in its ball and socket. Bending the outside leg, kicking the butt. From here, let's go a little bit back into that extension and then open the leg, sending the knee to the side and the foot's gonna connect with the ankle. The foot's gonna connect with the other knee. Stay tall on that inside leg. Now let's disconnect the foot, internally rotate the femur and bring the quads back together. Let's repeat that 2 more times. A little bit of a reach back, open to that figure 4 shape, then disconnect, internally rotate. One last time. As you do that, I recommend you put your hand on your high outside hip bone. And as you open the leg to the side, that hip bone stayed the same level. And it especially stays the same level as you do that internal rotation. Coming back to parallel, let's bring the leg through again to hip flexion, keeping that knee bent. And for 3, we'll just pry the hip or the leg to the side, pressing the hips forward, and then return to center. Maybe the ankle can sneak up a little higher. Repeat again. Knee side, open up hips forward, knee front. One last time. Knee side, hold, knee front, brush the legs back, straighten underneath. Shake it out. Yeah. Same thing.
Man, those hips today, Lauren.
Those hips. So important. You gotta love them.
We'll get the stage hands better next week here, I guess, with the multiple props.
All right. We bend first, flicking the floor, bending the knee, ribs to hips, reaching back a little bit to extension, and then rotating the femur open, knee finds the side, hips press forward, tall in that inside leg. Disconnect, keep the hip in the same place as you return the quad to parallel. Repeat again, reach back, open the leg in the socket, sending the knee to the side. Disconnect, internally rotate, bringing the quads parallel. One last time, back, rotate, open. Breathe, disconnect, internal rotation without hiking. Quads return to parallel. Keep that knee bent, brush it through to hip flexion. Foot stays connected underneath you. Open knee to the side, hips push forward. Return to center. Repeat. Knee to side, hips forward and square. Center, maybe a bit of a lift up. One last time, open. Return to center. Brush back and straighten. I always find it amazing watching really good runners, which is mainly just on TV. But anyway, and how they can get their heel so close to their bum back there. It's amazing.
Yeah, watching the Diamond League, those 100s, 200s, 400s, 1500s, 3000s, those marathon runners. It doesn't matter if you run that hip flexion, bringing the knee through, as well as that knee flexion, kicking your bum. Super challenging, super important. Juicing those oranges, Lauren.
Should we do kick-ups?
Juicing those oranges. Yeah, so we can always go back to that box. We can continue our practice in center, we'll call it, without the assistance of our devices, and practice some handstands. So Lauren here will just quickly demonstrate her favorite way to get into the handstand, which is that tripod kick up. Establishing fingertips on the floor, little bit of that sprinter block setup as always. She'll load up over the wrists. Then finding a nice balance, switching in between. This has taken years of practice to finesse and to continue to build.
I'm doing it too.
And right there. So build those baby little airs there, work on little weight transfers to build your skills towards your full handstand. It's my turn.
Sorry.
My turn.
So much fun.
My turn. I know. Okay.
All right, Ian's
so then here's my
favorite
entry.
kick up is the step in. So reaching in with a single leg, pushing the floor away, both legs coming up and disconnecting on the down. I believe he's going to alternate his step in leg as I did in my tripod kick up. Do practice both. It's good for symmetry and for your brain. Again, you in this position, you're starting right away with those elevated shoulders. So you already have those up. You're in that hollow position as you enter. Good.
Yeah, did my 4. Jealous. Nice number, nice set of 4 right there. Let's work through a little bit of a size of sit, and through today's practice, we'll continue towards the sissy squat. Knees over toes on 2 feet. Heels stay heavy for as long as they can, and then peel them off the floor as we sit towards our toe squat. Let's stand back up to tall. On those points of feet, reset through the heels. Again, knees over toes. Peel the heels up, allowing yourself to go just a little bit lower. And then, nice and control, let's extend those hips, trying to get the knees towards the floor. Then extend through. With the hands or without, let's just approach back towards that toe squat. Stand up nice and tall and reset to low. Add a little shake. We'll come back to that movement in just a second. Until then, a little bit more of a kick up.
I'm doing my kick up, tripod. I'm still going to alternate which leg I do to kick up just to get that practice. And again, not spending too much time upside down, but just working on how much effort I'm going to need to get to that upside down place.
Just right on that first rep. A little bit not enough on the second, But with practice, we'll groove that position to end up in our predictable, beautiful handstand like that. Awesome. One more set for a little bit of that warm up. So again, walk around like the elephant, hold yourself in a plank, use a box apparatus, or join me as we kick up.
So again, as Ian goes into this kick up, he's reaching with those elevated shoulders. Fingers are wide, gripping the floor. Thinking about using that whole hand. So that callus line is down. He's using his fingers to press him forward, press him back. And again, trying to grow tall, keeping that hollow shape. Reaching up towards the ceiling, breathing. Most importantly, having a good time and staying safe.
A little bit of the oversteps there. Call it out. Do celebrate what you did really, really well. Identify those little tweaks that we can do to add strength and fun to your workout. You all good there?
Yeah, makes sense.
Upside down vibe here. Okay, so let's continue that sissy squat. Now this time, press those knees over toes. Before the heels lift up, let's extend those hips forward. So as you can see on Lauren, there's a straight line from her knees, hips, shoulders, and head. Then straighten the knees, pressing those hips forward. Let's try that again. Knees over toes with the heels heavy. Extend, cramp the butt cheeks, and pull the rib cage to the hips to help support the lumbar spine. Then press the hips through with the knees. Progressing, knees over toes. Then can we find the toe tips and just that same effort to hold our toe tip balance here in the hip bridge, and then pull the hips underneath. Perhaps repeat one more. The cramped glutes. The core is braced. There is no pain or discomfort in the lumbar. If there is, we need to modify. Then go heels heavy, stretch. Holy quads on that one right there. So again, we're using the core on the front to help go back, making sure we're not trying to win the limbo or lumbar competition here. Let's go time, right? Looking for time?
Sure. Right
on. Instead of time upside down, let's continue time under the kick up. Is that what we said?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep. I don't know what you mean. Just keep talking and I'll figure it out.
So time, we're going to put 30 seconds on the clock, and for 30 seconds, kick-ups, 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 kick-ups. If you're upside down for longer than a second, that's fantastic, and maybe run with it and own it. But more than that, focus on kicking up for 30 seconds.
So I shouldn't try to hold it.
Not trying to hold. If you hold it, that's wonderful. Don't get me wrong, but do try to get more reps of your kick-up. Lauren is going to do the step in, and I am going to do the tripod. Throw in a little wrinkle in there. Let's go. 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Are we going at the same time?
I go, you go. I go, you go. So here's Lauren in the kick-ups. Nice and control between. We don't have to get 30 repetitions here by any means, but just nice and controlled. There we go. Looking for that nice, smooth move working through. Practice what you really like or what you're really good at. And then also practice those other skills. Beautiful.
But you told me I'm not supposed to stay.
5 more seconds is 30. That is beautiful, though. You can celebrate that for sure. And then down. Nice. All right. So then I have to go back to the tripod kick up now. And we'll start doing that as well for 30 seconds.
So for 30 seconds, Ian's trying to work on his tripod kick up here, hopefully alternating his takeoff leg as he does this, which means you might see a scissor action in the legs, or he's doing 15 seconds of one, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But straight elbows, reaching that leg up towards noon on the clock. Reaching up, you're halfway there. Reaching straight, keeping that hollow position, and again, pressing the floor away. I like to recommend when you're doing this sort of kick up, stack those shoulders first. Break. Or last one. Nice. And dismount accordingly.
It's a lot of work. So let's give us a break off those hands, challenge the body and the balances the other way, and continue with a sissy squat. So we'll go knees over toes. Check. Then extend those hips through,
leave the floor.
Which would peel those heels off. Might we be able to get a little bit lower and then stand up nice and tall and reset on the heels? Repeat. Knees over toes. Squat plie. Then peel the heels up, extending those hips. Straight line, knees through shoulders and head. Then perhaps get lower, and then stand up and reset. One more time. Knees over toes. Then peel the heels up, extending those hips forward, getting lower just a little bit, and then up with control. Tiptoe to balance, and reset to the floor. Little shake, little wiggle. And from maybe the less performed movement, being the step in, Lauryn will return to the tripod for 30 seconds of kick-ups. 3, 2, 1, nice and control. In between here, shake it out, stay loose. Check out your neighbor that you're training with, or your friend here, Lauryn on the screen. Beautiful control. When you do something that you're not familiar with, and then you come back to something that's more your staple, it could be quite fascinating how awesome that is. That's been 20 seconds or so. 1 or 2 more repetitions, finishing with control. Beautiful toe points, Lauryn, beautiful toe points. And then a little bit of something fun to finish is always allowed too. My turn. So I return back to my favorite. That's that step in entry for 30 seconds.
All right, step ins here, 30 seconds. Sorry, sometimes I get to sneeze after I do mine. Reaching and pressing the floor away, pointing those toes up to the ceiling, entering with that core brace position.
Bless you. Gesundheit.
Sorry. Try not to sneeze on camera. Whew, it's hard. Breathing. Nice. And again, checking in with those wrists. If they're getting tired, take a break. You'll need your wrists for your life today. Last 1 or 2. This is about your 30 seconds here, and we're doing something fancy. Nice.
Trying to keep up to Lauryn here.
Yeah, good.
Trying. All right. One more little sissy squat here. Can you show us a sissy squat, Lauryn? What is a sissy squat? We've talked about it, but maybe not even shown the whole thing today. Nice and control. That beautiful straight line, knees through shoulders, towards the floor. Awesome. Little step under, that's fine. Half point deductions, Lauryn, but that's just fine.
It's a lot of pressure.
Okay. So again, it's that knee over toe, then hips through, heels up. Get as safe flow as you know that you can come back home from by pressing those hips through, resetting heels on the floor. 1 or 2 more, the heels stay heavy. Then they peel up because we're getting lower, extending those hips with nice and control. Could we get low? Oh, too low for me. Too low. So let's shake it out. Let's go out one more time and stay away from perhaps too low. Be able to come back home safe to educate that groove.
One more time, sissy.
For one more time, heels heavy, knees over toes. Peel the heels up, extend those hips forward. Nice and control. Own it and return. Reset. There we go. Well, let's get to the floor there, Lauryn. Finish with the core, or do you have an ultimate challenge for today?
I have 1 minute of fun written.
Oh, 1 minute of fun.
And I really wanted to do 1 minute of fun. So for 1 minute, you have fun. Fun could mean playing with your handstand. Fun could mean planking, holding a bear, sitting in a mermaid position, drinking your coffee, and watching us have fun. Any of those are fun options.
Sounds fun to me.
Our fun option is going to be 1 minute of trying to be upside down. It might get a little quiet because I like to try to be eaten every time. So I can't talk while I do that. Okay? No pressure on either of us. So 1 minute of fun, pick your fun. It could also be less than a minute. Get ready. Go at the 5. We're waiting for the analog clock.
I think we need more room.
3.
There we go.
2. And minute of fun commences. Silent minute of fun.
Oh, darn it. Oh, darn it.
I got so excited.
Oh, I was still very good. How long was that? 30 seconds?
It was 45.
45.
Well, maybe by the time I
Nice.
started 40. So
Nice.
that's still a new record, but then you hear your neighbor go down and you just get so excited.
Good. It felt so good until I heard the trepidatious little steps going on there, and I knew it was over. My wrist said, please don't try to save it anymore, and you need to listen to that. And I knew Lauryn was listening to those hand steps and maybe smiling upside down.
I was trying to think
of... Which is a frown. I don't know. Maybe she's unhappy that I didn't get it.
I don't know. You try not to think of what you're doing too much because then you overthink it.
I know.
So I was like, well, the Leafs play tonight. Start thinking about the Leaf game. That's where I was thinking. All right, let's finish with our favorite game, which is the difficult splits. Sitting up tall, we're going to take 3 placements to get our leg as wide as we can, or 6 total, 3 each side. So tally tall, feet pointed, knees straight, hands out to the side. From here, lift a single leg and move it about 1/3 of the way over there. And then take the other leg, lift it, and move it 1/3. Back to the first leg, lift it 1/3. Lift it 1/3. These thirds could start to get smaller, that's allowed. Back to the first leg, lift it and open it. And one last time, lift it and open it. Okay, let's hang out here for a couple seconds now that we're here. Toes are pointed, we're sitting up tall. Hands can be out in front of you. Slowly shifting your weight side to side or sliding that rib cage, keeping the shoulders level. Then bringing it back to center, and we'll bring those legs back in with 6 steps again. First leg, it lifts, and it comes in 1/3. For second leg, lift, and in. Lift, and in. Lift, and in. Last 2, lift them really high, and bring them in. And last one, lift it really high, and bring it in. Take a second off there, Ian, entertain them. Excuse me.
All right, allergy season, here we go. Finishing with Lauryn's favorite moves here. We'll make sure that the low back is not terribly rounded, but it doesn't need to be in that extended or anterior tip of the lumbar either. So compress on those abs. We'll take a single leg here, pull it in that hip socket, and then lift it. We're gonna hold it for 5, 4, 3, and always control down. And with 2 hands supporting, we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll compress in the hip. We're flexing up a stiff leg, shooting laser beams out of those toes. Reset, alternate, let's pull in. Zip up, pull in, hold for 3, 2, control down. Again, pull in the other leg, nice and control. Straighten the knee. It's never straight enough. It's never straight enough and down. Let's reset in a 90-90 with our elbow on the floor. The lunge position, similar to the mermaid that we started with. Push away the floor through the elbow. Extend that top hip. Yes, there's a ton of cues. I'm sorry for that. But take a hand across the chest. Look at the elbow on the floor. And then with the upper back, rotate towards the ground. Take a breath in, then look with the head. Rotate through the rib cage. And at this place, let's just commit to that top hip being extended or pushed forward. Then look with the head to the elbow on the ground. Rotate through the rib cage. Continue to extend or push the top hip forward. Then look to the ceiling, press through the hand, and come back towards that mermaid sit. And in this sit here, nice and control. How does that feel from before? Earlier, I really did feel the need to press through that hand to sit tall. And now, I'm a little bit more squared up. Nice. Switch the same thing other side. On the elbow, in the lunge, that top hip, we want to make sure it's closed or pushed forward, just like in that down dog with the box. Then look at the hand or the elbow at the floor, and then rotate with the ribs. Next. Take a breath. Then look with the head, neck up. Rotate through the rib cage. And again, that top hip to extend or press forward. Last one, we'll look down at the elbow on the ground. Rotating through the rib cage next. And then look to the ceiling. Press through the hand. Come back. to the sit we started with. Say hello, say goodbye. There you go. And challenge, always challenge. Thank you for joining us this morning. This has been our weekend workout where we invite you to play with our strength. Bodyweight skills for all ages, for fitness and fun. And thank you very much, Lauren, for sharing with us here today.
Yes, it was a great time. We'll do it again. Tomorrow morning is the morning routine live at 8:30.
Sleep in, 8:30.
Live it up. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Have a good day. Goodbye.